newest member, as I mentioned, Susan Piper. Susan will be sharing a story of radical reinvention. The journey of a woman who went from the polished halls of Harvard and the polished image of an executive wife to the gritty, hands-on world of hardware, where she rebuilt not just a business, but herself. This isn't a story about career change, it's about reclaiming power, purpose, and identity. Susan will be presenting her 4 to 6 minute speech, her Icebreaker speech, called From Harvard to Hardware, How One Woman Transformed from Executive Wife to Business Brass. Please join me in welcoming Susan.
How long is your speech?
4
to 6 minutes.
4 to 6.
Good evening. I'm Susan Piper. Thank you so much for having me, Park City Toastmasters. It's great to be here and to share the story of From Harvard to Hardware, how I went from being an executive wife to being an innovator. So let me start back with part 1 of my life. Classic overachiever. Born and raised in Ohio, went to Ohio State, and at Ohio State ran every student faculty service organization that existed, as well as became top 10 senior, president of my pledge class in my sorority, and summa cum laude graduate. Wow. So I was really a hard charger from the get-go, got hired at a prestigious management consulting firm that some of you may have heard of, called McKinsey & Company, and really was like on top of the world. And straight from McKinsey & Company, I went to Boston, Massachusetts, and at age 24 started in the class of 1992 at Harvard Business School. Graduated from business school, and then we go to part 2 of my life. Part 2 of my life was becoming an executive wife, because it turns out that the decision that you make about whom you marry when you graduate from Harvard Business School determines the course of your career. And I met and fell in love with a man who was 10 years older, and he had already achieved success as a partner of a consulting firm. So while I also was a consultant and ultimately an executive in tech firms and in financial services firms, I was really always on the mommy track. And the mommy track meant that I was the one that came home for our 4 kids when they needed to go to the doctor. I was the one that hired the nanny. I was the one that kept the house going. I planned all the family vacations. I was really supporting my ex-husband, whose career was taking off and really doing well. You probably heard this story before. I see some familiar faces. So what happened was, at one point in my late 40s, I'm actually older than that now, one point in my late 40s, I woke up and said, it's not enough. There was a dream in me that was really tugging at my heart. And that dream really was that I had a company in me. So now we go to part 3 of the story. Part 3 of the story was getting divorced, starting a business, and becoming a single parent all at the same time. And not just any business. Now, you would expect that someone who'd worked in financial services, who went to Harvard Business School and had worked in technology, might start the next SaaS business or an AI business. But no. Having been an economics major and a liberal arts undergrad, I decided I wanted to start the coolest business I could think of. And that was a shovel company. Don't laugh. I've sold millions of dollars of shovels worth $600 a kit, and ended up working with people like Travis Rice and Tim Durkee and other professional athletes. My business was featured twice on television. It's been in Popular Mechanics, Esquire magazine, and my son used to say to me, Mom, my friends all think I have the coolest mom because you know all the pro athletes. Because the shovel was used to create big experiences in the outdoors. So it was used by big mountain skiers and snowboarders, as well as some of the top overlanders and off-roaders. So it ended up taking me to places that I had never been. I mean, I was in Munich, Germany, presenting awards, and we have 7 patents and won an award on one of our patents. And I was down in Mexico riding in sand dunes with professional off-roaders who were influencers using our products. So at the end, you might say, what happened? Well, what happened is I had an incredible ride for 9 years. A year ago, Friday last week, I sold the business, and I have taken a deep breath and realized 3 things. Thing number 1, The poem I loved as a child was by Robert Frost, and it was the poem called The Road Not Traveled. No, Road Not Taken, excuse me. And I realized that that story was always in me. And what that means is that I always was ready to take the road not traveled. And I wanted a life of journeys. I did not want the expected life. I was not going to retire at age 48 and just play pickleball and be satisfied with that. So I think that's the first point. The second point was that I would say that living a life where you say yes to your soul's purpose is worth doing. I don't know where the journey's going to take me from here, but I do know that the woman I became, the innovator, really is the woman that was always inside of me. And it was always waiting to come out. And maybe I was afraid and married someone who was so successful so that I could hang on to his coattails. But it was always inside of me all along. So I really would encourage you, if you hear this story, to think about, what were your childhood dreams? What is inside your heart? What is it that you're looking to do? And are you living that life right now? And if not, I encourage you to make a change. Take the road less traveled. And with that, I really appreciate you listening to my story. Thank you very much.